We're still away from some distance away. I mean, we haven't quite finished the Canucks season, and but looking out there to some distance, it is the return of football season here in the Okanagan. The Okanagan Sun get set and start making their plans to return to the Apple Bowl and to launch yet another season. And to help them do that, the new head coach of the Okanagan Sun, Gavin Lake, brought to town yesterday. I don't know if he left Europe and sort of hopscotched across Canada to arrive here. His last coaching assignment was in the European Third Division. Who knew that the Europeans were busy playing a good quality football? But Gavin Lake arrives in town yesterday and introduced to the Kelowna media. He is proudly the new head coach of the Okanagan Sun. Coach Lake, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Well, we're good. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't quite do the puddle hopper, but Austria has it's about 20 years of football going on over there, and had a great opportunity the last couple seasons in the second division, and had a great time. Met some great people, some lifelong friends. I'll definitely go back on a holiday. But you're looking at about a 9-hour time zone difference from here.
So how does one? Because you've been coaching in junior football in this province.
Yeah.
You've been with the University of Calgary.
Yeah.
How do you end up in Europe with Amstetten?
Interesting story. I was in Calgary, and it was about October. We were in a playoff run, and Dave Ritchie, one of my mentors, who I worked with the Lions, he called me up and said, Gavin, I'm going to Zurich to coach the Renegades, and would you come with me? I said, if the contract's right, if it all works out, sure, I'd love to go. That'd be a great opportunity. In doing so, we didn't quite get the contract offer that I needed to make it happen, but I was working with Roger Kelly with Euro Players. He's the company that works with getting players and coaches over there, and we got in touch with a couple other teams. One pursued pretty heavily, and the one in Austria was the one that looked the best fit, and so I went on over, and the rest is history.
Is there an end to that involvement with European football? I mean, it strikes me that to go to Europe, it's in the minds of some people, it's a dream. Amstetten competing, as you called it, in the third division.
Second division.
Second division.
Yeah, there's a third one added this year. Last year they were in the second, and we went 6-0 in the regular season last year, and so they bumped us up, and they added a third division of new teams. So. Yeah, it's very much like soccer with its relegation system and its divisions over there. So it's not quite like what we have set up with different leagues.
Does it pay better than BC Junior football?
You know what? It's different. It's different. You have to look at it as a working holiday. Like you're going to get meals covered, of course. You're going to get your flight covered. You're going to get insurance. You're going to get all your travel expenses, and you're going to get an honorarium on top of that. So what you see a lot of young coaches over there, and then you also see a lot of retired teachers who are also coaching over there. So it's quite a mix.
All right. So now we flash to the Okanagan Sun, and let's bring the lens a little closer to home.
Right.
The 2010 season did not end well for the Okanagan Sun. The 2011 season under Coach Jason Casey did not end well. Coach Casey accepts a position at Queens, and
right.
Suddenly this football team is looking for a new head coach. And obviously, in the minds of the new chairman of the board and in the minds of the new general manager, somebody who can lift this team, carry it, and take it to its former prominent greatness.
Right.
That's you. That's a lot of responsibility, Gavin Lake.
You know what? It's a challenge, but it's something that I've worked hard for at this time in my career. Crisis is when opportunity meets preparation. Opportunity came up. I've been prepared. I have great connections with Jay and Paul. I totally believe in their football acumen and their background. And when they gave me a call and we started talking, we got on the pretty good wavelength pretty early. The idea of the Okanagan has always been a competitive program. It's always had a solid board. It's always had caring individuals and volunteers. It's always had great support in the community. And I saw, despite the fact there's been 3 coaches in 4 years, you still saw an 8-2 team.
Yeah.
So the basis here that we have to tidy up the recruiting end. We certainly have to treat our personnel, treat our alumni, and our fans to a competitive team. And I'm really looking forward to the challenge. I met some guys last night. Yesterday was my first full day in, and the idea would be to just build from there.
So two things, and I have a hard. Firstly, I think it's important for people to know that you know this league. Okay. Because you spent time with the Island Raiders,
right?
You know what
bad guys.
yeah. The nemesis of the Okanagan Sun.
Yeah.
You spent time in the Apple Bowl. You know what our fans are like. You know what you know what this football is like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? I had the opportunity to be the vice president of football operations and the offensive assistant with the Raiders in 2008. We had a great run. We had a lot of new kids, a heavy turnover of talent. We had a large spring camp. We were fortunate a lot of those guys stayed around Nanaimo, and they grew as the season went, and we got stronger as the season went on. The coaching staff gelled, a real family atmosphere. And I believe that the team that plays the best at the end, is the key. And Okanagan's always started strong. They've traditionally came out of the gate pretty heavy. A lot of their wins, I think they've only had 2 or 3 against Nanaimo, have been early in the season, and later in the season it's been a different race. So I think what we have to do is we have to look here and certainly emulate some of the Raiders' success. The Hilltops is another program that we have to look for, and given the status of Langley with their win last year, we have to look at them as well.
All right. So listen, Coach, I've got 1 minute, and I want to go to one other important element here. Mm-hmm. The vision is that the Okanagan Sun ultimately are going to depart the BC Junior Football League, that they're going to align themselves with UBCO, the University of the Okanagan, that ultimately will step into the university football leagues. Is that an exciting opportunity, or is that a challenge? I guess, given that you've come out of University of Calgary Dinos, that to a degree that's exciting for you.
Yes and no. I think we have so much work to do right now that the light at the end of the tunnel is not even a light. It's just a little pinprick. To me, I recognize that we have to get the pieces in place. Obviously, fundraising and scholarships are a huge part of that, and of course, getting a good relationship with the athletic department at UBC Okanagan. But you know what? My mandate is to win now, and as far as I'm concerned, getting the coaches and getting the players and getting the families and everybody oriented towards winning now with the Sun, that's my number one priority.
Coach Gavin Lake, a pleasure to have you in town, the 13th and new coach for the Okanagan Sun. Spring camp opens May the 4th. This is the first of a number of conversations we'll have with Coach Gavin Lake as the season unfolds.